I know some of you clicked on this video out of curiosity for how Satan tried stopping me from making this podcast. I promise you I will explain that shortly. But I hope you'll stay a little longer than that, as this podcast has very helpful information for your spiritual well-being. I will explain how you can see the movement of demons trying to cause problems in your life and in the lives of those around you, so you can put an end to it and pray for them to depart. Obviously, the devil doesn't like people knowing this, which is why he created trouble for me. But before I tell you how he tried stopping me from making this podcast, I will give you some quick context. I thought up the message for this podcast while driving to Zagreb, Croatia from Medjugorje to catch a flight. When I got into Zagreb and got set up in my hotel to begin working, that is when I began to have troubles. At first, I couldn't get the hotel Wi-Fi to work, but that wasn't a problem. I have unlimited data and hotspot. So then I tried setting up my laptop with hotspot, but it told me I had no internet. I restarted the phone I was using for hotspot and I restarted the laptop. Still, no luck. Then I tried updating some system apps on the phone to see if that would fix it. My phone then jumped from full bars to no service. Frustrated, a thought came to my head. It's possible a demon is trying to stop me from making this podcast. So I took out my crucifix and I blessed my phone and my laptop, asking that any demon which might be causing trouble be sent away. Immediately after the blessing, everything started working and I had my internet connection to the laptop. Having said this, I wanted to say that I recognize that demons are not the cause of all of our problems, and we certainly shouldn't blame everything on them. But sometimes, when there is something they especially don't like, they will come into our lives to stir up trouble. Or at other times, they will come in and stir up trouble because we invite them through our thoughts and actions. It's important to recognize what they are doing. If I didn't recognize that there was a possibility of a demon disrupting my electronics, I would have never used a crucifix to bless them, solving the problem. In respect to our lives and how the demons can disrupt them, this trouble with electronics is among the smallest of disruptions demons can cause. The day after the incident with electronics, I had a prior foster son, who is now a young adult, give me a call, saying he was being troubled with thoughts of self-harm. Although it was late in the morning where I was in Croatia, it was just after 3 a.m. for him where he was in the United States. He is not baptized, but I went through a process to help him with baptism by desire. He affirmed he wanted to be baptized. He went through the process of rejecting Satan and all his works and accepting God and his plan. We went through the Nicene Creed, and this young man declared he believed in all of it. I then prayed for him and prayed that the demons bothering him would leave. We then proceeded into spiritual conversation for a while and then ended the call, with him feeling much better and the thoughts of self-harm being completely gone. I could have just told him he needed to go to a doctor and get some antidepressant meds, but it wouldn't have fixed the problem he had right then at that moment. By recognizing the root of the problem for him was spiritual and not simply a chemical imbalance of the brain, I was able to help him solve it in this instance with prayer. And we talked about how Satan didn't like him turning to God and wanted to prevent it through his death. Recognizing this spiritual battle helped him find strength. He now has a context for why he was suffering in the way he was, and could use that knowledge to help him in the fight against the devil. And then our conversation ended in the most beautiful way that would melt any father's heart, with me letting him know I loved him as my son, and him letting me know he loved me as well. It has taken me years to learn to recognize the involvement of demons in life situations, and to see the difference between difficulties with a natural cause versus difficulties with a supernatural cause. But the way I explain the process of seeing the work of the demons has always been quite simple. It is like seeing the wind. We can't physically see the wind, but we can see the effects. It can affect us directly, such as when the wind tries to knock us off of our feet. I experienced this feeling from the wind coming off of the ocean in Greece recently. We can also experience the effect of the wind through objects around us, such as the wind pushing the waves of the ocean, or the wind moving the grass and the branches of the trees. Similar to this example of the wind, we can't physically see demons, but we can see the effects they have on us and the world around us. We can see them with the mind just as we can see the wind with the mind by looking at the effects. Demons can push bad thoughts into our minds. They can also try to get at us through the behavior of other people around us. Sometimes they even try to act like our friends and try to help us get what we desire, provided the desire is unholy. Since I expect some of you to not understand how a demon would want us to like them, I will provide this example. While in Greece, I visited the ruins of a temple to Poseidon. While there, a persistent thought kept coming to my mind to admire Poseidon, to praise him. I had to fight that thought until I left that place, since I knew it came from the demon who was worshipped as the idol of Poseidon. I was on land where he was worshipped hundreds of years ago, and he still wanted to be praised today. This is not the first time I've felt the demon attached to a place who wanted me to like him. I've also experienced this near the French Quarter of New Orleans, a place known for partying and sexual immorality. By recognizing and knowing how the spiritual can affect me, I can be aware of it happening and prevent the negative influence of demons in my life. All demons are harmful, including the ones which want us to like them. If I had allowed myself to be influenced by the spirit near the temple of Poseidon, my thoughts of the one true God would have become convoluted, and my ability to pray to the one true God would have become difficult. To see the spiritual winds, that is, the forces of demons trying to lead us away from God and what is holy, requires being grounded in truth and humility. Every action of the demonic is to destroy truth and humility. Evil wants us to live in a lie and to become prideful, or at the very least to have a false sense of humility. Once you recognize this, you can recognize that every force trying to take you away from truth and humility is a temptation. By knowing yourself, you know what temptations arise naturally from your concupiscence and how to handle them. When the temptations you are experiencing are either different from what is typical for you, or they come from an external source, it is then that you should become attentive, for the devil may be trying to attack you. As Paul states, "Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong." Demons try to catch us off guard to get us to fall into sin. But if you stand firm in your faith, building your house on the rock of truth, you'll persevere to the end, not caving to the winds of the demonic. May God bless you all. Stand firm in your faith and remain alert until the Lord comes. Praise be Jesus Christ and Mary Immaculate.